Okay, we are only 7 days into Pride Month, and now the largest LGBTQ plus advocacy group is out with a major warning. The Human Rights Campaign is declaring a state of emergency for LGBTQ plus Americans. They said it's due to the unprecedented and dangerous spike in anti-LGBTQ plus legislation that's resulted in hate, discrimination, and even violence. Meantime, more than 200 LGBTQ plus groups have sent a letter demanding Target restock its Pride merchandise that was removed and asked the company to take a stand against anti-LGBTQ plus extremists. And check this out, a protest outside an LA school board meeting turned into a massive brawl. The board was voting to reauthorize the official recognition of June as Pride Month. 3 people were arrested. So what do we think about, Erica, first of all, the LGBTQ plus groups saying that this is that they are under attack? This is the first time, by the way, that they've had to make this emergency declaration.
I see it no different than the conversation that we had about the NAACP issuing a state to say that you may not be safe in these certain states. And it's the responsibility of these advocacy groups to speak out on behalf of the folks that they're advocating for. Ultimately, this is cause and effect. When you have legislation that is basically dog whistling to extremists, that it is okay because these people aren't as valuable in terms of their lives as you are. Therefore, you can harass, you can kill, you can treat them as subhuman. So that is something that everyone should be on high alert for. And for anyone who isn't aware, and there, by the way, are people who aren't aware of what's happening in terms of legislation, that they should know as well so that they can make more appropriate decisions for their lives and their livelihoods.
Yeah, it's sort of just like a code red, code orange, and at this point they're just saying we've hit code red. We have real legislation and real people coming after us. And I just want to let you know, gender affirming care bans are now in 20 states. That's about 90,000 teenagers that are affected, and they have to decide, do I move? Do I have enough money to move? Does the family now become what I call culture war refugees? And now the states will be completely segregated due to legislation. And it's just states versus states. So I think the declaration was necessary.
There's another part of this that a lot of people have brought into the mix. It relates transgender influencer and activist Dylan Mulvaney is speaking out about all the hate and vitriol she received following the sponsorship deal she had with Bud Light. In a new interview, Dylan spoke about all the conservative talk show hosts and commentators who have been slamming and insulting her, saying, "I prefer not to name any of those people because it gives them the satisfaction of believing they're on my mind." Dylan isn't the only person reacting to hateful messages. Valerie Bertinelli posted this picture on Instagram to celebrate Pride Month, encouraging people to support Elton John's AIDS Foundation. Well, the post got a lot of hateful comments, and now Valerie is speaking out. Take a look.
I mean, these are people that just want to exist without being killed, without being anything happening to them horrible. But here you are throwing out more hate, fear. No one wants to turn your child gay. They just want your child, if they are gay, to know that they have a place in this world. That's all. Don't you want your child to know that they have a place in this world?
Jeff, what's your response to Valerie and Dylan?
I think there is a lot of support. Like, by definition, a state of emergency means a response in large numbers or large scale. Would you guys argue that a large percentage of America supports the LGBTQ community and their movement and what they represent? I don't know if we could say everyone in those 21 states, whatever it is,
right,
everyone who lives there is a bigot. Right?
I didn't say that.
I know, but I think that's what the media is trying to do, right? They're saying it's a state of emergency. Obviously, there's a problem in the LGBTQ community. I can't speak of that, right? I'm not LGBTQ. I am a supporter. People may not see that by looking at me, and I think the media doubles down on that, right? I was just home. A lot of my family members are LGBTQ. Support. LA, my buddies that I say I love you to, or come stay at my house, LGBTQ. Chicago, I support people that are amazing people. It has nothing to do with what community they belong to. I support good people. When you're a bad person, I call you out and you're a bad person. If you have to be a member of a segregated community because you're a jerk, I'm going to say you're a jerk, and you could use whatever you want to protect yourself, but you're a jerk. I think the majority of Americans support causes that are going on around the country.
Right. Oh, please.
Sorry, yeah.
No, I just thought that it was a great time to point out exactly what you're saying. I think that's what needs to be discussed. I don't think anyone up here believes that people who live in these 21 states,
20, just so you
or
know.
20
Yep.
states, are big hits. I think what the call is, and any time we have a local election, is to pay attention to who is running in these offices, because this is also a representation of your state. It's a representation of you as constituents. I'm not blaming the constituents. I'm saying that sometimes and oftentimes, because we can look at the voter turnouts on some of these local elections and know that a lot of people have become very apathetic. So if you weren't aware, now you are.
Yes.
Yes, and that's
Really
fine.
well
I
said.
appreciate that.
Yep.
Right.
Well said.